So welcome everybody, and I will do I'll give you a quick overview of me, and then I'll jump into the content. So I am the current vice president of enterprise sales. What does that mean? Think of customers who use our products for more than one user. So it's things like corporations, government agencies, primarily in the United States, but focused on using our software, that would be JAWS, Zoom, Text, and Fusion, for employment-related or testing websites and things of that nature. And then I'm responsible for all of the consulting sales. So that's things that we sell to support companies who um, need to make sure that their content, websites, mobile apps, and internal apps for employment are fully accessible. And then third, responsible for anything that is not standard and kind of where we can deploy the JAWS software into other products such as kiosks. And I'll give you an explanation of what is a JAWS, what is a type of kiosk and what is a kiosk in just a second. I'm going to start with a video because a video can kind of give a good presentation on what we do. And let's see, share my screen. Let's see, go with this. Ooh, wrong button. Let me restart that. Wrong button there. We'll do say share again. No, basic. And we did share sound. And okay. So I am going to start with a video, and then when the video is done, I'm going to kick into a presentation deck that I can walk through what JAWS Kiosk is, and then I'll do another demonstration of a user using one of the kiosks with JAWS running. So let's start with the video, and then I'll come back and jump into the presentation.
Seen from above an urban skyline, a treed plaza.
In 2019, $38 billion was spent just in restaurants on self-service.
An airport.
From airports and train stations to government offices, restaurants, grocery stores, and retailers, the use of kiosk machines is widespread as a convenience for customers. And while technology continues to advance,
A red-tipped white cane.
a whole portion of the population is being left behind.
A man navigates with a white cane.
And with 285 million legally blind people around the world, how do we make kiosks accessible?
A woman at a kiosk.
With JAWS Kiosk, we created a way to bring a new dimension of accessibility and a powerful contribution to providing a full customer experience for the blind and low vision.
A kiosk. Start here. To the right of a screen, an alternate keypad. A man presses a blue diamond-shaped button.
Welcome to JAWS Kiosk. Menu items, donuts. Press the right arrow to move to the first donut.
JAWS software will revolutionize self-service kiosk accessibility, creating a user experience that is accessible across the spectrum of disability needs.
What is the reason for this visit? Voter registration. Press the middle key to activate.
Supports over 30 languages and the same interface for all customers configured to work with Storm assistive technology devices.
Swipe your card to continue. Your card has been billed for $6.13.
JAWS Kiosk is deployed in over 10,000 kiosks in North America.
Please proceed to the front counter. Your order is number 2506.
It's efficient and easy, all powered by JAWS.
The JAWS Kiosk logo. An animated smiling shark. JAWS Kiosk. The Paciello Group.
All right, and so that gives you a quick
Drinking water before bed burns 46.
welcome to let's see, go back to Zoom. All right, screen sharing has stopped. Okay, so Jan, I assume you can hear me okay? I just stopped the video.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, very good.
Clear.
All right, good. And I'm going to open up the PowerPoint presentation now. So just give me a second. And having fun with PowerPoint, as we all love. All right, and then I need to share that. It's the fun part of opening like multiple presentations all at once.
Oh yeah,
All right.
but it works.
And share this. All right. So on my screen is a PowerPoint slide, and I'll kind of walk through this. And if I don't cover everything, if you have questions, don't hesitate to raise your hand. I'll walk through this deck and then show another video, and then I can answer questions. So, so first thing is, why do we call it JAWS Kiosk? Well, the brand JAWS obviously carries a big weight, and so when we're selling to people who understand what JAWS is, having that brand associated to it is a big part of it. Let's see so what is a self-service kiosk? And there's a lot of definition around this, and some of those were covered in the video I just showed. When you think about things like check-in and check-out, buying a ticket, things of that nature. Some people will refer to it as a kiosk. Kiosk is also confusing because, you know, a kiosk could be a place in a shopping mall where someone buys a case for their phone. Those are the carts in the middle of a shopping mall. So that's not a technology related thing. It's a sales related thing. So think of self-service as kind of a better term for it. Self-checkout, information. So that could be in a shopping mall where you want to find out where a store is. Interactive digital signage could be, again, mapping. It could also be used in museums, things of that nature. Self-service lockers. You've probably seen this, especially under COVID, where businesses want to, you buy something and rather than interact with a person, they'll place that thing that you bought that you're going to pick up in a locker. Those could be made accessible. And in the United States, we actually sold 750 licenses to Verizon to do just that, so that if you bought your phone, you could go to a Verizon store, pick up your phone, and it would be in one of those lockers. You would scan your phone at the kiosk, it would talk and tell you which locker to pick it up at, and it would unlock the locker. Micro market or vending kiosks are things, you know, a lot of it in the past we would think of, you know, where you would buy candy and chips and snacks. I would take a little bit further that it be more, it could be selling all kinds of goods today. And, you know, we've done a project with Pokemon where they sell the cards, and the cards that you may buy from Pokemon are in one of these kiosk-like environments that looks more like a vending machine. Point of sale systems, they call it POS. Those could be another form of a kiosk. And those are some of the examples. And I'll walk through some examples of how those are touched in certain stores here in the United States and how those may be applied in your environments as well. So why should they be accessible? I mean, we're in a business of accessibility. So for me to tell this group here why things should be accessible, it's probably not that relevant to you, but we do want to make them usable for everyone. We can serve a larger audience, including people with disabilities. Now it says that's the law, but that depends on the organization, country, of whether or not they believe it's a requirement. So TPGI is the consulting brand, previously known as Paciello Group, and some of the things that would be done through TPGI is kind of a consulting arm to deliver the kiosk solution. They would do an accessibility design review. They would do a product accessibility template, software usability testing to make sure JAWS functions as it should. These are things that you as a dealer or distributor, if you're in that sector, may be able to do on your own. But if not, that's the expertise that TPGI can bring, user flow testing, and then JAWS implementation. And some of that you guys can do on your own, but there's some parts of it that are a little bit more unique in the way we handle a kiosk versus a computer. And then input device integration, and think of that as every kiosk that needs JAWS on it needs a way for a user to interact with it if they don't want to use the touch screen. And so that would be a keypad, not a keyboard, but a keypad with a headphone jack. And when you plug in your headphones, it'll start JAWS. I'll give you that in just a second. So what matters most? The mode of the accessibility within the kiosk needs to be able to perform all functions. You got to provide an equivalent experience to the user, meaning that you don't want to make it so that a person who's blind can't do the same tasks that the other customers who use this self-service would do. And then some people think about using an attendant. That's not considered an adequate use of supporting a self-service device, partially because an attendant may not always be available. And I think about an airport today where there's kiosks all throughout the airport. They do have attendants floating around, but what if I wanted to be able to do all of this on my own? And then I think usability matters to everyone just as much as accessibility. All right. What makes a kiosk accessible and how? We have to look at the hardware. So the hardware has to meet certain specs for physical accessibility. Screen size, how high the screen is off the ground. Does it have the proper touch points? JAWS as a touch device requires a certain number of touch points on the screen. The kiosk applications need to be accessible. And so it's not enough to just put the JAWS software on the kiosk and be done. There could be consulting opportunities as well. And then, of course, adding JAWS as a screen reader to the kiosk as well. And then the input device is the fourth item, which is critical because, again, you need a way to start JAWS and to interact with the kiosk. Some of the hardware requirements I already went over just a second ago. We do need the headphone jack, and I'm going to skip past that. Okay. Software accessibility. This is the WCAG accessibility or WCAG. There's some of this stuff we need so that things like tab order is critical to even a kiosk because we need swipe gestures and we need key presses to be able to move through those items. I'm going to skip forward through this. The power of JAWS. A lot of this stuff you guys are going to know because you're here and you've heard Eric yesterday and other days talking about this. And if you know the product, you know a lot of this stuff already. Product's been accepted by McDonald's, Social Security, Princess Cruise Line. So lots of big organizations are using this for a kiosk solution. Obviously, you guys already know about the language support. You wouldn't be here. It's very customizable. You're not shocked by that. If you've been exposed to JAWS, the customization's key. And that we can make the same user experience as a sighted person. The only difference is that they're using a keypad and headphones. So that's a key component to our delivery. And then it's configured to work with a device like the Storm Audio Nav keypad. We don't need a server or internet connection, and then we have enterprise level support for the customer. And those are key components when people are choosing this. They want that enterprise level support. When they went to embedded screen readers, what they found was that they couldn't get the modifications they needed to be able to give a good user experience. All right, some of the features. Headphone jack detection is key. So when you plug in the headphones, it starts JAWS. When you unplug the headphones, it stops JAWS. And it resets JAWS back to factory defaults, or the kiosk defaults, should I say. So we may have different settings in factory defaults. We have basic things like speed and voice rate preset. User configurations available. We can adjust speed, volume, and verbosity level all within the kiosk. Languages and voices. You can do some customization. You obviously have things like we need headings to be able to drive through the user experience. Dictionary files, obviously something you guys know about if you've dealt with JAWS before. And then we have the ability to turn the screen off. And then the item here, it's about changing the voice based on content versus instructions. There are actual requirements in some countries that the instructions via voice have to be in a different voice than the actual content, so that the user knows the difference between instructions versus content. And so the ability to do that is key as well. You guys are comfortable with the languages and voices. Obviously the vocalizer expressive tends to be the choice of a kiosk manufacturer or deployment for an organization because they want the higher quality voice and they want it to sound very more natural than, say, eloquence. And so that's been a big part of a selling point for us, is to make sure that we have high quality voices. I'm going to skip this one. All right. Headphones for text-to-speech. So the image on the screen is the set of headphones, and as you plug the headphones in, it starts the screen reading process. And again, if you take them out, it stops. And it shows a picture of a hand inserting the headphones. I'm going to skip this slide because we covered this. Skip this slide. All right. So tuition bill payment. This would be an example at a university or at a place where you have to go and pay your bill. They may use Kiosk for self-service to be able to do that function. And on the screen is an image of one of those examples. A parking kiosk. Now, somebody would say, why would a blind person need to use a parking kiosk? Because they obviously went with somebody else. But if you think about accessibility, it reaches beyond just blindness. And then at the same time, it doesn't mean the blind person's not the one paying for something. QSR, a restaurant, these are things like McDonald's and so on would have a kiosk where somebody can make purchases, select the items they want. They can go through the entire menu. They can add and subtract features of that item that they're purchasing and so on. Locker kiosk, I mentioned this before. You could see these at grocery stores, supermarkets, stores that want to sell you something and they don't have the people to visit you. They may put it in a locker. You're seeing it at restaurants today and so on. Vending kiosk, I mentioned before. These are things where you may have multiple items to choose from and it actually issues out the item through the kiosk, not just the payment process and picking it out, but actually the delivery of the item. And contact information on the screen, I have Laura Miller. You can also contact me. Laura Miller is lmiller@vispero.com. You can also work directly with Jan to reach us. My email address is M as in Matt and last name Ater, A-T-E-R. So it's M-A-T-E-R @vispero.com. So mater@vispero.com. I'm going to close this and I want to show a user experience. So let's see. Let me close that, and then I'm going to open up the next one. And then I'm going to show. Let's go to this one. So just bear with me. I'm opening up Chrome and loading this. And just 1 second.
Friends would walk up to me and just be like, just what the fuck is in your mug? And I would just tell them.
Just 1 second. The fun part is you get ads when you start videos. So just 1 second.
It's mud.
And
I was drinking tons of coffee. I was jittery. I was anxious.
all right. So let me full screen that and go back to Zoom. And I have sound shared. And there we go. All right, I'm going to play this video and then we'll take some questions.
Freedom Scientific, a Vispero brand.
Now for a demonstration of how to operate a McDonald's kiosk with audio navigation. First, the guest will need to make sure to bring a pair of headphones with a standard 3.5mm jack. When they arrive at the kiosk, they will locate the audio jack input near the navigation pad where they can then connect their headphones. At this point, the guest will hear a welcome prompt with additional instructions on how to use audio navigation to order.
Welcome to McDonald's. The keypad on this kiosk has 4 arrow keys, a key with the circle on it in the middle of the arrow keys, and a square information key next to the headphone jack. Welcome to McDonald's. Press the right arrow key to move to the next item or the down arrow key to move to the next section.
The guest can use the navigation pad to explore the kiosk menu or the large touchscreen interface on the kiosk by swiping left, right, up, or down, and double tapping to make a selection. When they are ready to place an order, the kiosk will prompt the guest with audible confirmations and additional questions.
Complete order. Where would you like to check out? Right here, credit only. Please follow the instructions on the PIN pad.
If paying with a card, they can complete their order with the convenient PIN pad next to the navigation pad. Otherwise, if the guest would like to pay with cash, the kiosk will instruct them to take their receipt to the cashier at the counter.
Please take your receipt to the counter to complete payment. Your receipt will print to the right of the payment terminal or to the left under the navigation keypad. Thank you. Welcome to McDonald's.
This has been a demonstration of how to operate a McDonald's kiosk with audio navigation.
All right. So, let me see if I can answer any questions that people may have. Jan, I don't know if they just unmic themselves and ask.
Yeah, they can unmic themselves. Yeah.
Very good. One thing I didn't share was you saw that you could use either the keypad or the touch screen. And the way we've scripted JAWS for that is that the tutor messages that go along with how to use it change based on what you use. So if you use the touch screen, you get different tutor messages than when you use the keypad. So you heard it say, press the right arrow key to move to the next item. If you had swiped, it would say, press the swipe to the right to get to the next item. Or double tap to select. So those instructions change based on what you use. So you can go back and forth between touching the screen or pressing the keypad.
Okay.
And we may not have any tough questions today.
I don't know.
Which tells you that Jan, you did a really good presentation.
Thank you very much, guys. It was good teamwork then. Eh? Yeah.
And so, I mean, you may not have an idea today of where this may fit for you, but as you go around and you see these self-service devices, ask yourself and ask the vendor, could somebody who's blind sit down and use this self-service device? And if they can't, then you see this as something that, you know, may need to be resolved, and the opportunities for business come into play.
Yeah, and also when dealers have the have an inquiry from a customer, that you can always contact us, and then we will help you in setting up the process and guiding you accordingly.
Well, excellent. It doesn't look like we have questions.
No,
I'm sorry that we didn't get anybody. Sounds like there's about 14 people here, which is you and me. It's probably 12. But if anybody does have a question, if you don't have it today, feel free to reach out to Jan if you need something from me as well.
Yep. Okay.
Excellent.
Well, many thanks, Matt, for your clear presentation. And then again, also to the attendees, many thanks for your time that you were spent with us. And please remember, we have one presentation to go today at 4 p.m. Roxana with Zoom text. And you can always reach out to us for more information. Well, Matt, many thanks again, and have a nice day. And thanks to all. And we will say bye-bye.
Thank you, Jan. Take care.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.